Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Cedar Rapids native musician, now living on the West Coast, but has started to come back occasionally. Tim Daugherty, who was reunited with Bill Davis and Dennis McPartlin last year on the Jazz Under the Stars stage. Yep. Had so much fun, you decided that an August stop in Cedar Rapids was worth doing again.
Yes, we are going to do it again. Well, in a different capacity.
Of course.
I'll just have Dennis McPartlin with me and John Reisner and Steve Charleston, who played in the show. So just a smaller quartet, but we're going to. I came back and we had a nice, intimate show after the great Jazz Under the Stars
That's
concert.
right. Just a night or two later, you guys were at Campbell Steele.
Yes.
Because Craig and Priscilla have started hosting events in the gallery again. For those who don't know, although they've been doing it for quite some time, and they sell out regularly.
Yes, they do.
And this one is probably sold out, if not nearly so.
We're getting close. Yes. I think the Daugherty Davis McPartlin had some great notoriety to bring a lot of people out there. So we did 4 shows last time. We're just going to do one show this time from 2 to 4 o'clock out there at Campbell Steele.
Oh, okay, and that is Sunday the 23rd.
23rd, yes.
At Campbell Steele, and we'll talk about tickets and stuff as we go. So, Tim, for those who don't know, and we talked about this a little bit when you were getting ready to do Jazz Under the Stars, but you, as I've said, you've lived on the West Coast now for some years, and you've been very involved in the cruise industry.
I am, yes. The cruise industry has been great. I've actually retired from the industry now. We were talking earlier, as I mentioned, but I had some health difficulties. So I had 20 years in the business, and I never thought I would be working on cruise ships. It was always like, you watch the TV show The Love Boat, and you laugh at it, right? But no, I had a great time. I saw the world, play with some fantastic musicians, and did my own shows the last few years. So
and that's the key, because a lot of musicians, for instance, Paul Lichty, who is one of our artists with Jazz Under the Stars, he did a year or two on a cruise ship right out of school, and I'm not going to say that's normal, but a lot of musicians graduate as music majors and they do that. But it is also long hours, not a ton of money.
Yes.
But if you can hang with it and get to the point where you're doing your own shows and you're kind of the headliner, then it starts to be a decent career.
Yeah, it has worked out for me. I started out as a music director, and it was a lot of fun, and I, continued on doing that. I was able to. I've been to every place in the world, and I met a lot of great people from different nationalities, crew members, besides outside the auspices of the music scene, which was interesting. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I had a little bit more privilege than a lot of other musicians did. So for me, it was a fantastic time, and I don't mind that I had to kind of put it to rest, but that's all right.
Did you meet your wife while working, or?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was about 6 years ago, and it was cruises right before COVID. It was funny because I came home and I had my knees replaced because, I wanted to get back to work like everyone else did as soon as the cruise industry would open back up. But unfortunately, it stayed dormant for a while. And so I had my knees replaced. I had some issues with that. And so I just went and had both knees replaced. And she told me, why don't you come out here to San Diego? I'll let you rehab for about 6 weeks. And then 6 weeks turned into 6 years, and we got married last year.
Nice.
So I guess it turned out all right in the long run. I don't mind.
Of course, many of us remember the great years with Daugherty Davis McPartlin, and then after Billy moved away, you and Dennis continued as a duo for some years. And really, I'm not going to say y'all created the jazz scene in the Cedar Rapids and Eastern Iowa area, but you were active at a time when there was a lot of live jazz, and if somebody wanted to go watch live music, they could pretty much do it any night of the week.
Yes, we did it. Started 5 nights a week up at the then Stouffer's Hotel downtown, which was a beautiful facility. We were on the top floor, and I put the band together because I wanted to go back out to California and work out there. But I was advised to put a band together, and there's the whole story that we kind of brought up before, where I put a record together with a football player, and that had some notoriety. And after that, a local Cedar Rapids, Michael Boddicker, who I went out there to ask some questions about coming out and working. He said, "You should go home, put a band together, and come out here." That was his advice. And I went back home and did put a band together, but I never came back out. I stayed here with Daugherty Davis McPartland, realizing I could do what I wanted to do here, as opposed to living in that hectic West Coast scene. So, and then of course we were one of the few really, I'd say, up and coming, I'd say people in their 20s were playing jazz. I mean, most people around here were playing blues and classic rock and, some lounge music, so to speak. But we combined all those elements, pop, rock, jazz, into our performances and had a great time. And we were able to work as a small nucleus because I kicked bass like the old days with my left hand and played chords with my right. So we had a full sounding band. And then we had certain people when we were able to do so. So we had a lot of people go in and out of the band. And it was a great time. And, I don't look back at it all saying I should have went out to California and do this. I had a great time here.
This was a time when Cedar Rapids was a very music-rich environment. There was a point. Of course, you have, all of your brothers are all musicians.
Yes.
So you were all kind of coming up at the same time. But that Washington High School, and to a lesser extent Jefferson and Kennedy at that time, I mean, I think of, you and Bill and Dennis and Craig Erickson, Dennis McMurrin, a couple of years ahead of you. Yeah. Dan Johnson was coming up at this same time. It was, I mean, you couldn't, sitting in your class at Wash, you would turn around and the whole classroom would be full of musicians.
Well, I was, actually, I was a French horn major when I went to college. I wanted to see if I could continue what I was doing in high school, but we had an amazing orchestra band program. I tell you what, 50, 60 strings, if I'm right, possibly. But we did like a large tour back in '76. We went out to the East Coast and performed. And of course, we had a fantastic choir. So we had excellent teachers who really pushed us. And, if we wanted to do something musically, they weren't going to hold us back. Actually, my oldest brother, Mike, he put together, with the assistance of Dick Brickley, the band director of the Washington High School Revolutionist Jazz Band. That was one of the first jazz bands that we had in the city of Cedar Rapids in the high school form. So, we had an incredible lot of musicians and singers, and we incorporated one great singer from Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, who played in my high school band, Tim Shue.
Who also went on to have a huge Broadway career.
Yeah, he's done a little.
He's done all right.
He worked all right.
Yeah. So here we are, all those years gone.
Yes.
You're still coming back to Cedar Rapids and play every now and again, which is great. So tell me about the band and what's going to be happening at Campbell Steele.
So we'll have Dennis McPartland, Steve Charleston, myself, and John Reasoner playing guitar. We're just going to do it as a quartet this year. And I'm going to be playing some of the music that I've done on my cruise ships. I've done a lot of jazz performances there. As well as some of the other stuff, but I won't be doing that. And we're playing some of the old music with the Daugherty Davis McPartland group as well. And just to, get out there and enjoy. I know there's a lot of people who always enjoy listening to us coming back. So it should be a nice audience, well attentive, and just looking forward to swinging and having fun for a couple hours.
If you haven't been to the gallery since Craig and Priscilla have opened it back up, they've done some tweaks to make it a great music venue. Of course, many people remember Liars Theater and all the activities and concerts that took place there over the years, and they're starting to bring some of that back. And, Craig is doing a great job of curating a really cool list of musicians of different genres and different flavors to make this a great variety.
Yeah, it's nice that they have a lot of different styles of music out there, so it's great. Keep it going.
Tickets for the Tim Daugherty Quartet at Campbell Steele Gallery on the 23rd. Now, remember, an afternoon show starting at 2?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yes.
You can get tickets at campbellsteele.com. And as I said there, I haven't checked the seat map yet, but I imagine going pretty fast, so I would
Yeah, I
not
think
dawdle.
it's about 2/3 full, so hopefully we'll get a few more people.
Do you have a internet or Facebook presence or anything where people can kind of keep tabs on what you're doing with your music and stuff?
I don't do a calendar because mainly because I've done cruise ships for so long. But I just have a very simple webpage, tdjazz.com, if you want to go to it and look at some fun pictures and a
See what
little
Tim's
video here
doing,
and there.
or if you're going to be in the San Diego area, you might get a chance to catch you playing live someplace.
Yes, if you come out there, just give me a call. As a matter of fact, I have all my information there. You can say, "Hey Tim, I heard you on the radio show. Can we stay at your place?" And as a matter of fact, I do have a guest bedroom downstairs. So.
A true full-service musician.
Why
everybody.
not?
Tim, thanks so much for being here. Have fun at the show. Safe travels, and we hope you make this a regular thing coming back to Iowa once
Thanks,
or twice a
Dennis.
year. Take care.
Thank you very much.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.